Well, we have made it to the 7th and final night of the 2021 ISCS Week of Speed, and the first ever Speed Week for my 14-year-old younger sister Carly to be behind the wheel of a sprint car. You have been riding along with us for our journey, seeing new tracks for her, some interesting surfaces, some crazy weather conditions, and overall just making it through each night. Now we're here at the Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington, the second consecutive night at this track. They are kind of working on final preparations, hoping to give us a little bit of better surface than we had on the Friday show. It was really one lane, it took rubber very early in the feature, killed tires, and overall just wasn't racy. It was very difficult to pass. But I got Carly down here by the track. Talk about your first Speed Week and this kind of experience, and then also back at Elma tonight after running yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely different being on this Speed Week as a driver, because I haven't been to a lot of these tracks and racing, so it's just been a blast, even though at some tracks we've wrecked out or haven't finished the main or didn't even make the main. So besides that, I'm having a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do this next year. And on top of that, just finish off tonight on a strong note, and then after that, as I mentioned, we're headed back home to Southern Oregon. We're all, I know, even though it's been time, hey, it's been tiring, but man, we're ready to kind of be back home in our own bed and hopefully get a great racing surface tonight to finish off the ISCS Week of Speed in night number 7. So we've been going all week long, giving it our all, and we are going to be getting it all started now. Well, Carly's last qualifying session of the week is all finished up. How did you feel? I definitely felt a little bit better in hot laps, just because I don't think we didn't adjust anything, which was so weird, because hot laps I felt perfect, and then in qualifying I felt too tight. So I don't know, maybe those big rigs maybe pushed some like dirt or whatever, I don't know, made the track even more hooked up. So just a little too tight, but I think we still got in that top 4 position spot. So I think that should set us like second row inside for our heat.
And that is correct, and what Carly is talking about is tonight the big rigs are running, the semi trucks, they all race around. I think there's 8 or 9 of them, and Carly went out there for hot laps. She was quick time, looked really, really good. I believe her time was a 13.6 when she was quick time in hot laps, and then when they rolled around for qualifying, the track was about 3 or 4 tenths faster. I think it was more like 13.2 and 13.3 range. She looked really good, she just couldn't really get through the center of the corner like a couple other guys, so we're gonna make some adjustments and also see what the racetrack does, but overall the track is much faster tonight. You can see our race car even has some mud on it, which means there's some moisture out there. So Carly's gonna check stagger, do all the normal, and then we're gonna finish up with watching all the rest of the guys go out and qualify, and then heat races will be up next. So earlier in the video, remember how I told you guys the big rigs are running tonight, and that is the main show? Check them out. Just wanted to show you that so you kind of had an idea of what I was talking about as they're gonna play a hit. Look at this guy. These guys are gonna play huge effects on the track tonight, but anyway, heat race is gonna be up next for the 22C. She is gonna be starting front row outside after qualifying. Track is still a little bit more hooked up tonight, so hopefully she can get out front and try to get a heat race win. Well, kind of a tough heat race there for Carly. She started second and ended up running fifth. She just kind of got trapped on the top and things really didn't get going good from the start. We kind of talked about a good game plan of like, hey, on the outside, try to roll fast and see if you could time it to where you're side by side with the inside car going down the straightaway, or even try to have a run on him. And that's what she tried to do, but it just didn't really work out. The inside car was able to take off, and then that kind of left Carly behind, and she tried to kind of run the middle in 1 and 2, which didn't seem bad, but then she wasn't able to get to the bottom. So it was really just a domino effect on how she ended up running fifth. But once she kind of got out by herself, her race car still looks just a little bit tight. It doesn't look bad on entry, but from center off where guys are really able to stick the bottom, it just doesn't seem like the 22C can really get down there. And part of it is still Carly's obviously trying to adapt to these larger tracks. See, when I got on bigger racetracks for the first time, I actually felt more comfortable. I think Carly, is finding out that she actually likes the bull rings more, which that is all a part of this experience, which is good for her to see new places, and we're just going to continue to try to get her more comfortable in the seat. So the remaining sprint car races are up there right now. She's watching, trying to learn, but overall we're going to see what the surface is for tonight, and then also try to get Carly better, behind the wheel. Well, a little bit of track prep being done here to the Grays Harbor Raceway. I'm on the entry to turns 3 and 4, and I'm really just trying to study tonight's surface. As I talked about, Carly is still trying to adapt to these larger racetracks, and we're trying to figure out, what we can do to make her comfortable in the race car, as well as assist her and help her and give her the right advice she needs, to go out there and be fast. But right now, one thing that has been interesting, I talked about those big rigs. They ran heat races after we did, and I kind of felt like that actually dug up some of the moisture and brought a little bit of it back. At the end of the sprint car heats, it almost looked like it was abrasive in many spots, but then like 8 or 10 of those guys went out there and almost seems like it brought a little bit of it back, as well as they're trying to water right now, but I feel like they need to water a little bit lower. They're almost kind of watering the lane where no one's running because of where the banking flattens off. So I'm just trying to really see what the track's gonna do tonight. If I had to predict, I would say by the time the sprint cars get out there for 25 laps, it's probably gonna get very, very slick, and even probably a good chance of lane rubber. So we're gonna keep an eye on what they're doing. They are currently pulling the water truck though off the track, so I'm assuming that they're kind of finishing up. The sun is about to set. They're doing a couple activities for the fans, which is awesome because a huge crowd tonight to watch the races here in Elma. But anyway, we're just gonna finish up everything, and A-main events will be soon. All right, Carly, night number 7, finale. How you feeling going into the A?
We kind of start deep, so not feeling too great about where we start, but we'll probably be in the front hopefully soon.
So because of Carly's heat race, I think she's rolling off from 19th. So we have a good shot at going for hard charger tonight. With how the racetrack is, definitely has a little bit more grip than the previous, but I think it's also gonna blow off. It's super deceiving with all the conditions right now. So we're getting ready to push her up to stage and then right onto the track, and then we're gonna start the 25 lap feature. So Washington has some of the best sprint car fans, and I have a young one right here. Buddy, what's your name?
Cedric.
Cedric, and Cedric is a quarter midget driver right over here at the racetrack, actually on the other side of the fence in the pit area. Have you been having fun lately?
Yes.
And how long have you been around racing? Pretty much since you were born?
Yeah, yes.
Yes? Cedric's a good kid. Glad to have him here in the pit area. Like I said, we met a couple years ago and have been buddies ever since. Well, for the final time this week, Carly, 22C's loaded in the trailer and it's rolling in on all 4 tires. Well, we are all loaded up, and for the final time this week, I get the chance to end the video and thank you guys for watching. Night number 7 of the ISCS Week of Speed is complete. Tons of memories this week, lots of fun, great experiences. I believe Carly was scored 19th tonight in the A main event, which we're going to kind of talk about some of that chaos. The main problem was early on in the A. Carly got rolling, and there was a situation, and well, actually, Carly's here. I'll let her explain it. Do you want to talk about the yellow that they called and then ended up leaving the green light on?
Yeah, so I think I was coming out of like turn 2, I believe, and I saw a yellow light, and they were yelling out in the receiver, yellow, 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 and so all the cars in front of me slowed down, and I even saw the guy that caused the yellow, but then they flipped on the green light, but they're still saying yellow on our receiver, and then here comes the leader and laps me and the car in front of me, and so then it was just kind of chaos, and very, not frustrating, but kind of frustrating, just because we drove up to like 13th or like
right outside
12th,
the top 10.
yeah, so somewhere right in there, and I definitely thought we probably could have been a top 10 car if that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was just kind of a rough start getting stuck out there, and I was watching that, and then like she said, for them to yell yellow on the receiver, so cars are all slowing down. Guys up front even a little bit, but some are still on the gas, and then the car pulls into the infield, seconds later, and then they kind of revert back on the call. That just, in my opinion, that's not right. That really screwed us, but it is what it is. Carly came home 19th, but as she mentioned, she drove almost in the top 10, just was considered, 1 lap down. Kind of a frustrating surface again. It took rubber fairly early on in the feature, which was kind of expected. Just super hard, not a lot of moisture, and it was just tough to get moisture in the track all weekend. Can you kind of talk about trying to run the rubber?
Yeah, I felt like just how my car was set up and stuff, and being new to this track, just running literally with my left front tire down between the divot, between the berm and the racetrack. So just ran my left front right there the whole entire race, and caught some actually pretty good grip off, and I passed like a bunch of people doing that. So definitely think if we were on the lead lap and if we started more up front, we probably could have maybe been a top 5, but at least a top 10.
I would 100% agree with that. I think kind of the notes after the week was just, it was great to get some new racetracks. One thing Carly is really working on is trying to use her wing on a track like tonight. It's super key. I think we talked about, man, if she could have got it a little bit farther back at the start, and then as rubber comes in, you can kind of start working it back forward to free up your car. That is your one tool you have, and it's so key to try to get it in the right spot, and that was something that it took me many races to really figure out, to where now, man, if something feels wrong, I'm immediately reaching up and grabbing it. But to end the video, Carly, do you want to thank all your sponsors and everyone that helped you during Speed Week?
TSK Designs, Earth and Environmental, On-Site Screeners, ABC Powder Coating, Rush Race Gear, Truck Shot Motors, Ed Boyd Racing, the whole entire crew, my dad, Roger, Bob Ford, Tanner, just everyone who came out to watch and to help. So really appreciate it.
We are now headed back 6 hours home to Southern Oregon. Dad's gonna be a trucker. He's going all the way home, so we're gonna get to at least be in our own bed sometime here in the next couple of, I guess I should say by tomorrow morning. That's actually the best way to put it. So thank you guys for following along and supporting Carly. I know it was super up and down. We didn't necessarily get the finishes we wanted, but the experience was gained, and that is the most important part, as well as after the Speed Week, the car is in one piece, which not every single night that did happen. So thank you guys again. See you all in the next one. We have a couple of big weeks coming up with possibly racing with, well, some top-notch series that are going to be headed for the Pacific Northwest. See you guys all there. Deuces.